Hello and welcome back to the AA NBA podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And we haven't recorded in a little bit, but we've got some NBA news, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, so to start off with, I just want to cover the not-so-great stuff first. Kevin Durant's going to be out for at least a month. I think he, sprained his meniscus or something in his leg. And then Paul George is going to be out for maybe the rest of the season. Not entirely sure. But yeah, so just some injury news. Obviously, Kevin Durant was leading the MVP ladder before he went down, so that changes things up a bit. And the Clippers now don't have either of their max contract players.
Yeah. And they don't have a pick.
Yeah, and they don't have a pick for 6 years, so that's not great too. And then Miles Turner also had a stress fracture, which sucks because obviously the Pacers were trying to make moves with him. But not anymore because he's hurt.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the Pacers, I didn't know if you wanted to cover this or not, but there was potential rumors of a Fox for Sabonis trade with the Kings. And then since then, the Kings have said that they're likely to not trade Fox, but I thought it'd still be fun to talk about if you wanted to.
I'm not super surprised it's not going down because the Kings kind of just seem like they want to stay mediocre to bad forever. And I'm kind of glad the Pacers didn't do it, honestly.
Really?
I kind of think that I'd rather just get assets. I don't want to exchange, a borderline top 40 player for another borderline top 40 player and just kind of stay in the same place.
That's true.
And I understand that, Fox is a great playmaker, and that's probably the most important thing to winning. But, I don't know. I'd rather just get somebody in the draft this year with our potentially top 5 pick and then trade Sabonis for assets or something like that.
That's fair. I think I'm expecting the Pacers to be bad for a few years, so I thought Fox would be fun to watch, but from an actual competitive standpoint, it's probably a lateral move at this point.
Right.
Next up, Cam Reddish to the Knicks. He was traded for what? Kevin Knox and a second round pick or something. I don't even know. Not a good package. I guess Cam hasn't been
amazing,
but still.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of nothing, honestly, for Cam Reddish, just with what his, what we've seen him be able to do. Even when he's just average, he's still significantly better than Kevin Knox and really what that whole package was.
Yeah. Plus, we had this discussion with our friend Noah, who obviously
hates Cam Reddish.
Yeah, who doesn't like Cam Reddish. But his point was that Cam Reddish right now is a pretty not good basketball player, which is true. He hasn't been great, but he's shown so many flashes that he can be amazing.
And no team has ever been oh yeah, let's trade an asset because as much as teams are willing to throw second rounders into packages, they don't not value them, right? It takes a trade's an investment a lot of the time, especially when you're trading for players, and you're not trading for a player now, you're trading for what that player could become when you're trading for a guy under 25. Yeah. And I
think Cam Reddish can be really good still. So the way I look at it is if Cam Reddish doesn't pan out and he's just kind of this same player for the rest of his career, then the Hawks made a lateral move at best. And then if he pans out and is really good, then they just look like idiots.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess they did need to make some moves because they suck. But other than that, I didn't really see a point in that. Next up, Steph Curry has been not good for the last month or month and a half since he broke the 3-point record. He's been pretty bad by his standards anyway. maybe like okay for an NBA player, but bad
He's
by
still
his
averaging
standards.
like 24 points a game and shooting 35% from three.
Yeah, he's good. He's not Steph Curry good though.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Do you still have him in your MVP ladder? Because I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I do, because I would have Kevin Durant in mind probably. I think the 1 and 2 are Joel and Giannis at this point for me. But I mean, Steph Curry's still in the ladder for sure, especially with how bad the Lakers are. Like, I really don't think you can even put LeBron in the conversation because the Lakers are just so bad. Or you can put him in the conversation, but you can't have him in the top 3.
I would agree.
And, you know, like, Steph Curry's bad stretch, Steph Curry's slump is still like an all-star, all-NBA level point guard. Like, he's been significantly better this year than Dame, Luka, like, everybody. Trey, like, you know. And the other thing with the MVP race this year is, like, it's kind of a lot of, like, really good months or really good weeks, except for Giannis, who's been lights out basically the whole year, but nobody cares because he does it in a way that isn't super interesting. Jokic is kind of in that conversation. I think Jokic isn't on. I think Curry would be like 4th. I think Curry would be like 4th because the team's still really good. He's been good for the majority of the season, and I mean, frankly, like, he's gonna get back into that, like, 30 points on 40% from 3 or whatever. And, you know, I think that this stretch is going to be kind of chalked up to, you know, reintegrating Clay, kind of, and, you know, and they don't have Draymond, and Draymond takes a lot of pressure off of Steph. Like, you know, that's kind of, I think that that's kind of the mulligan for him, at least for this last month. If this continues for like another month, I would say I would reevaluate him being on the MVP ladder, but I've got him like 4th right now.
That's fair. I think, yeah, Embiid's got to be up there, Giannis, Jokic. And then honestly, I got to have Ja Morant up there too, like top 5. He's been playing out of his
I
mind.
would have him over Durant because he's going to be out for so long.
Yeah. Because he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been... I watched
out of his
that Grizzlies versus Warriors game like 2 weeks ago, and he was just like he was the best player on the floor. He was lights out like the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
And
he's a star.
to think of this man was found playing rec basketball at, was it Murray State? That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, 0, like, he was such an unknown out of high school. He was a 0-star recruit.
Yeah.
Which I guess just goes to show how much, like, recruiting stars and that shit really even matters.
Yeah. And then another thing, I guess these two things kind of go hand in hand a little bit, but we'll talk about James Harden has said, or at least there was rumors that he's open to relocation in the offseason. He's already given up on the Nets. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, like, that's kind of fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's antsy. I think he wants a ring, and I don't think he wants to wait. And, you know, I hate to say it. I hate to speak this evil into the world. I would not be surprised if he went up to, well, maybe not Milwaukee because he doesn't like Giannis, but like Golden State or maybe LA to team up with LeBron and AD. Like, I would not be surprised at all if he just goes to make another super team because at this point I think he's like, the West is weak. The West is weak right now, and the East is the best it's ever been. Frankly, I don't think that team, like, I think with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, that team will be still a contender. And then there's Miami in the East. God, I know there are a bunch of other teams in the East. Charlotte's going to be scary for the next couple of years. Not really the Knicks. Why am I blanking on, like, every team in the East? The Bulls. Like, there are a lot of these good teams.
The Cavs.
Like,
Cavs are for
these
real.
good young teams. Like, I think Harden kind of sees the writing on the wall. Like, and frankly, like, if I was in his position, I think I would too. Because, like, I mean, what? Like, Kyrie Irving, like, very clearly is a lot more, I guess, focused on... He's willing to sacrifice basketball, I guess. And I think playing...
There's a lot of baggage.
Yeah, I think playing with a player like that can be kind of... I think it's annoying for James Harden, at least specifically. Like, he seems like the player that's been most annoyed by Kyrie since he got there. Kevin Durant's hurt, and he's hurt kind of a lot. James Harden's hurt, and he's hurt kind of a lot. Kyrie Irving, when he plays, is hurt, and he's hurt kind of a lot. Like, I would not be super surprised if the Nets are a second-round exit again this year. And if that happens, I think James Harden is gone.
That makes sense. But when healthy, they're so obviously the best team in the league. And even when they were, hurt last season in the playoffs, they were 3 inches away from, making the finals potentially. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean...
feel like he could go to the Lakers, but those injury problems are arguably as bad as the Nets' injury problems. The Heat have been dealing with injury problems. The Bucks are healthy, but again, he doesn't like Giannis. I don't know.
It's sort of... It's such a... I don't know, and I don't even know, the Lakers probably don't even have the money for him. Well, they could if they trade Russ, I guess, but, it's...
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's... I don't know, and maybe he doesn't do that. Maybe he tries to go, and that's the other thing. Next year, it's going to be his age 34 season. He's 32 right now, he turns 33 this year. Next season, when the playoffs come around, he's going to be 34 years old. That is not only is that not young, that's end of your prime for 90% of NBA players.
Yeah.
Especially
ones that have had the baggage that James Harden has had to carry through his career.
Yeah, the miles on him, Steph Curry is injured. As much as he's had injuries, I would say that his game is going to age a lot better than James Harden's, because he just doesn't, because his game doesn't require him to put the miles on his body that Harden's does. Yeah. And if Harden is still maybe it would be a super team, I guess, but it wouldn't be, maybe it's not a 3 top 10 players on the same team sort of deal. Maybe it's James Harden's an all-star, but he's not quite that guy anymore, and that's just kind of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would be pretty fun, though, if by relocation he just meant, I don't want to live in a big city like Houston or Brooklyn anymore. I want to live in Indianapolis. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, he and Jabari Smith next year.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Dude, imagine that. James Harden, Sabonis, and whoever we draft in with our high pick next year, that'd be
That's
pretty
a super
fun
team,
to watch,
dude.
I think. Oh, yeah. Dude, and Chris Duarte, talk about top 5 players in the league. He's got to be up there.
Ooh, you know what just came to me?
Let's hear it.
Portland. What about Portland? Strip clubs, probably not great in Portland, but I think
that's true.
Playing with Dame, it's not gonna be it wouldn't be a super team, I guess, but it would be I don't know where you really put Dame anymore, because there's so many good players in the league, and he's hurt right now, and he was bad for a large portion of this year. But Dame and Harden, that's 2 top 25 players, 2 top 20 players next year.
If they could,
Week
so
West,
they obviously have to trade CJ for that
to make the money work.
But yeah, well, that too, and they play the same position. So
well, that's true. They could trade CJ, and they could get a guy they could get a good center or a good forward.
I guess you have to package Nurkic.
Yeah, package Nurkic and CJ for Sabonis or somebody like that. I don't know, or Miles Turner.
That wouldn't be bad, because Sabonis is on a really cheap contract for his level of play.
Yeah, and that's,
I think he's making 19 mil.
If you look at the Western Conference teams going forward, the ones I'm most confident in to consistently contend, it's probably the Warriors, Nuggets, Suns, and Jazz-ish, even though the Jazz I don't know. I don't know about them, but their defense is so good that and they got a guy that's proven in the playoffs as like a go get a bucket, which is kind of the most important thing you need. So I'll throw the Jazz in there. And like Portland with James Harden and Damian Lillard and then maybe like Sabonis or like some sort of center like that. Like that's a team that I think could pretty easily beat a couple of those rosters. Like
Yeah, for sure. The problem with Portland is they always have this thing where they always had Dame. CJ's been pretty good. Nurkic before he got like hurt, he was pretty good. And they have those three, and then their 3 and 4 position is always like a G League player. So it makes it hard to contend. I guess Norman Powell's good this year, but he's hurt like half the season. And then like I remember a few years ago they had like Al Farouk Aminu and Trevor Ariza and Myers Leonard and Zach Collins, and like if they want to contend, they got to get a bench of some kind.
Yeah, they do need to get a bench, but I think that Anthony Simmons, I think his kind of emergence into like a legit, not horrible player, like he's been legitimately good. I don't want to sound like I'm like negging him or anything. Like he's been legit good this year. His emergence, I think, really helps that team going forward because now they can trade CJ. And they still have a guy who can kind of do like a lot of the things that CJ does, like, or at least match some of his production with that sort of role. And, I think that's going to make things a lot easier because now they can get off of CJ. They can get off, like, if they really want to lean into the rebuild or rebuilding on the fly, if Dame does end up sitting out the year, which I guess is a possibility with his injury, like, I think that Simmons would be a good piece for that team, at least as like a sixth man, like kind of what Gary Trent Jr. I think used to be for them.
That's fair. I could definitely see that. Yeah, I think they could make the money work because Simmons he has some time left on his contract, I think, so they wouldn't have to worry about that. And then I think everyone else is pretty much locked in. The biggest concern at that point would be Dame like staying, but like if they can make the Harden trade happen, then like I don't think it's that big a concern because he wants to win. Obviously, he's 10 toes down. He's for Portland. He wants to win there. If you didn't know, he does. And so like, I'm sure if you could trade for Harden, it wouldn't be hard to convince him that everything's like working out. But if they can't make that trade happen right away, or like they need to sort of like maybe make some extra moves to make that happen, I could see Dame getting like a little impatient. Because I remember there was like, despite all of the rumors of him saying, or not the rumors, all of the statements of him saying like how loyal he is to Portland, he did have talks with LeBron. He had
his little offseason thing, like.
Yeah,
like he was not like it was not a guarantee he was going back to Portland. He was doing like it wasn't quite what like Aaron Rodgers did over the summer, but it was like he was the little cryptic Instagram post. I don't know if I want to come back to Portland. I don't know, and he only did it for like 2 weeks, but like he did do it, and that's the first time he's ever like publicly indicated that he could potentially leave.
And I think, didn't he say he wanted like only a 2-year extension too at the time? So like,
I believe so. Yeah, he wants like the most. I think the report that just came out was like that he wants like the most money over 2 years or something in NBA history or something like that.
Yeah. So like, if things don't work out in the next year or so, he could be gone. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. What do we got next?
Next up. Like I said, this kind of goes hand in hand with the James Harden thing. The 76ers want to hold out until the trade deadline to see if they can trade Ben Simmons for a James Harden-like player. Or James Harden. They said James Harden or another all-star caliber player. But, what do you think about that?
Look, I'm not going to say that Daryl Morey is an idiot or delusional or whatever, because he's the one that gets paid millions and millions of dollars to do this job a year, and I'm not.
I'll say that.
What I will say is he better have a fucking plan, and it better be a good one. 'Cause I just don't know how you could possibly believe that Ben Simmons is worth that. And, like, I'm not even, like, a Ben Simmons is the worst player type of guy. Like, I think that Ben Simmons is, like, pretty easily when he's playing, like, a top 50 player, right? Top 40, maybe? I don't know.
He's good. He's just not James Harden.
And, like, the thing, like, his one weakness is the one weakness that playoff teams can't have. They can't have a guy who just freezes. They can't have a guy that just doesn't, or refuses to shoot and refuses to address it and get better. So, like, that kind of limits your pool, right? Like, it takes the Nets out, right? Because the Nets can't deal with that. It takes the Bucks
especially
out
with
because
the
the Bucks
problems
can't
they have
deal with that.
on.
Because the Bucks already have a player that kind of has that issue. He's just so good at everything else, and he's kind of a traditional center anyway, or a traditional center forward that it doesn't really matter.
And he's shooting. He's showing that he's willing to take the shots.
And he's gotten better. And he's gotten better. Like, Giannis, as much as people clown him every time he airballs a three, you know what he does? He turns around and he gets his ass back on defense instead of thinking about it.
He's taking like 4 threes a game this season.
And then he goes back down the court and he takes another one. And that's not what Ben Simmons does. And, like, I'm not going to act... And, like, I don't know if Ben Simmons has something mental going on. I'm not going to pile on him. But, like, that's just, like, from a team-building perspective, it's something that they can't have. So what does that leave? It leaves, like, the Pacers who are rebuilding, the Kings who are rebuilding, and then who else? Like, what are the other rebuilding teams that would take on a project like Ben Simmons who have an asset that's worth... that the Sixers would be interested in?
Best case scenario, they get a guy like Sabonis or Fox, and they already turned down Fox, Hield, and like 2 first-round picks. So I don't know what they want, because they're not getting more than Sabonis from the Pacers. They're not getting more than whatever the Kings offered. The Pistons threw in there. Like, I feel like there's been 10 or so teams in the league that have thrown an offer out for Ben Simmons that has included an all-star caliber or around that level player, and the Sixers have said no. So at this point, teams aren't showing interest because, like, why would we offer you this perfectly reasonable package when you're just going to say no and demand something higher?
Yeah, the Sixers... Here's the other thing with the Sixers, and something that I've seen... I follow a couple Sixers fans on Twitter, and the main thing that people keep pointing out is, like, why are we wasting... Like, we're now wasting a year of Joel Embiid's prime, and, like, maybe his best season so far, but, like, this could potentially end up being the best season of his career, and we're wasting it...
It's his healthiest season.
It's his healthiest season. And we're wasting it because Daryl Morey, can't get his head out of his ass and thinks that Ben Simmons is worth so much more than he is. And, like, okay, let me throw out this deal for you. We all know the Malcolm Brogdon and a first-round pick, which would have been the 13th overall, that the Pacers sent over to the Sixers this season, right?
Yep.
Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis, and not this year's first-round pick, but like a future first-round pick and a future second-round pick.
If I'm the Pacers, I don't want to trade all of that for Ben Simmons.
I agree. If you're the Sixers, would you take that?
Easily.
Yes. I would think, like, and they've had better packages that they've turned down. What was the one from the Kings? Was there a Kings package, or was it like it might have just been a proposed one that I saw. Like, just a random
If I'm remembering correctly, it was like Fox, Hield, maybe Bagley, maybe not, I can't remember, and then like a few picks, I think. And the Sixers said no because they also wanted Tyrese Halliburton.
That's fucking ridiculous. How can you... Here's the other thing. How can you possibly expect a team to get fleeced? Like, there are teams that have gotten fleeced before, but, like, in the moment, like... it's like you're trading 2 20-point per game scoring guards for a guy who struggles to score 15 points a game and refuses to get better or care.
This isn't even fleecing. This is delusion.
Yeah, it's like we talk about that Nets the Nets Celtics trade all the time. And it feels like Daryl Morey is kind of like Danny Ainge, and this is kind of what I think hurt Danny Ainge in the long run. He's so focused on fleecing another team instead of just getting even value.
Yeah. But I feel like even he wasn't this bad. Like,
no, he probably would have taken that. Like, it's just like sometimes you're too smart for your own good, and I think Daryl Morey's kind of right there. Like, I think he's just thinking about this too much. Like, the entire city of Philadelphia would be ecstatic if they got De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield. Like, what is this? What does Joel Embiid need? He needs a true point guard and another guy who could space the floor. You know who can do that? De'Aaron Fox, pretty good true point guard. Buddy Hield, pretty good 3-point shooter. That's a move that immediately makes the Sixers a contender, which they aren't right now. They're just not.
The problem, too, is even if you're losing a little bit of value with that trade, at least whoever you're trading for will play.
Right.
Like, Ben Simmons isn't even playing, so at this point, you can't get lower value than what he's giving you right now.
Right. Yes. It's...
So,
No, it's... And the other thing is, I think a Fox for Simmons swap last year, they win that Atlanta series. They do.
Oh, for sure.
Fox
hits that
Simmons. Frankly, I think Fox is a more valuable player than Ben Simmons right now, and I think Fox plus Hield plus a pick for Simmons. I mean, that would be kind of the Sixers fleecing them, and that's not even the deal. It's a better deal than that, and the Sixers are still turning it down.
Oh, I found the thing, by the way.
Yes.
So Sacramento considered packaging Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and 2 first-round picks for Simmons, Harris, and Thibault. However, sources say the Sixers aren't interested in that package.
Okay, that's a... I still think that makes the more recent better. One. Because I still think that makes the Sixers better.
All right, the Sixers would have been much more interested if the Kings removed Buddy Hield and included De'Aaron Fox.
That's stupid. Why? Why would they do that? Like, Tyrese Halliburton, frankly, Tyrese Halliburton might be the best Kings player right now. Like, he might be better than De'Aaron Fox, or maybe going forward, maybe not now. But going forward, he might be the better asset. Yeah. And they want to include like 2 first-round picks with Halliburton for Simmons
and Fox.
Be ridiculous. And Fox.
And Barnes.
Like, I think Hield, Fox, and Barnes, like, the other thing is, like, I don't know why, like, why would they want Harris, like the Kings? Like, why would they want that?
It might be to make money work, because Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield are both on really big contracts.
Oh, that could be it.
I don't know if that is why. I mean, Harris is a good player, but, that might be, like, the reason.
Yeah.
The Sixers are screwing over Joel Embiid, and it sucks because, like, the Sixers aren't even, like, he's putting up... I remember I saw a thing that, like, for the entire month of January up until, like, a few days ago, he was consistently putting up, like, 31 points every single game. Like, 31 to 33 points every single game. And he's having to do all this stuff, and they still suck. So, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Get free JoJo. He can't trash talk when his team's losing every night.
Right. Which honestly has made him a lot more likable.
No, dude, the trash talk is what's so awesome about it. Anyway, the only other thing I really had written down is about the Lakers' struggles. They recently benched Westbrook in like the last 5 minutes of a game that they then proceeded to lose anyway. And there's just been like a whole lot of stuff going on around there. LeBron said he's like in the zone or whatever, but I don't know. The whole team's kind of playing like trash.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna pull up the standing. My patience with the Lakers is growing thin, honestly. and it's been thin for a little bit, but like I just like they're always a story and they suck. Like they're terrible. Yeah. Like they're
really bad.
The 8 seed, 23 and 24. Like there's realistically not a chance they miss the play-in.
Timberwolves are the 7 seed?
Yeah, they're pretty solid, dude.
Dang. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
The East is trash, or the West is trash.
Yeah, outside of like after about the Jazz, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, not good.
But yeah, like the Lakers, they suck. They're terrible. Like
yeah.
Like I don't even know what makes them better.
It's James Harden.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Do you so like obviously there's a lot of stuff going around. Like people are blaming Russell Westbrook, which he's been playing pretty bad. Anthony Davis hasn't played for a while, obviously. And then like Frank Vogel's on the hot seat apparently. So like I don't even know who else to blame.
I mean, I think that I think you can blame everybody a little bit. I think Rob Pelinka constructed a bad roster. I think that Frank Vogel is not really maximizing it. I think that some of the lineups they've been... Like, I heard in a press conference the other day, he was like, we got to get DeAndre Jordan involved more. No, you don't. DeAndre Jordan sucks. Like, is that your solution? Like, we're here right now with the Lakers, and their head coach is like, oh, I got to get DeAndre Jordan involved more. What? DeAndre Jordan not being involved is the only reason you guys have more than 20 fucking wins right now. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he's not helping. I don't think he's the main issue, but he's not helping. Anthony Davis isn't healthy, and he never is healthy. And when he is healthy, he refuses to play the role that the team needs him to play because he'd rather be a wing, and he's not. And then Russell Westbrook is trying his best, and that's not good. And then, like, LeBron, like, he's the only great player on that team right now. And I'm sure he had something to do with that terrible roster construction and getting Russ, so he's even at fault here a little bit, too.
They would honestly be a much better team if they had the same players they traded for Russ. Like, if they had Kuzma and KCP right now. Thank you. They'd be so much better.
Yes, they would be. They would be so much better. And I don't know if Kuzma's being better this year might just be a result of not being in Los Angeles, or it might be a result of looking at Los Angeles and how much they could use him right now.
Yeah. Because they'd still have what? They'd have KCP, Kuzma, Montrez, and then I don't know if they traded anyone else or like a pick or anything in there, but still. That's 3 pretty good players you could use right now.
Right.
But yeah, they're bad. I'm honestly here for it, though.
No,
when the Lakers fail, yeah. I win.
No, so. Lakers pack in the air. I'm excited. But it's still like, this team is...
It's upsetting to watch.
It's like such an organizational top to bottom failure. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all we got for news and stuff. So I constructed a bit of a game here.
Yes.
So it's guess the player from the teams they've played for. I saw this series on TikTok, and it seemed pretty cool. So I'm gonna do it. So I got the player. I'm obviously not gonna tell you who they are. I'll tell you all of the teams they've played for. And if they played for a team twice, I'll say it twice. So, like, if it was LeBron, I'd say, like, Cavs, Heat, Cavs, Lakers, right?
Right.
So I'll do that. And then I made this hard, intentionally really hard. Like, if I would probably get, like, 3 of these right if you asked me.
Okay.
So if you need hints, you can get 3 per player. I can give you the draft class, how many times they've been an all-star, and the position they primarily play. You can obviously ask for whichever one you want if you want one.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first player: Bulls, Knicks, Cavs, Timberwolves.
Oh, that's
Pistons,
D-Rose.
Knicks. Correct. All right. The first two are sort of gimmies.
Right.
The next one. Kings, Suns, Celtics, Cavs, Lakers, Nuggets, Wizards, Pelicans, Lakers, Mavericks.
Isaiah Thomas.
Correct. All right, this next one. Braves, Pacers.
Wait.
Oh, these aren't all current
Braves?
players, by the way. These aren't all current players.
Okay.
Braves, Pacers, Lakers, Jazz, Pistons, Mavericks, Bucks. This is not a current player, by the way.
Braves.
If that wasn't
when
made
did the
clear.
Braves stop existing?
Let me look it up.
I think that might help me with this.
Braves. The Buffalo Braves were a team from 1971 to 1978, and then they became the Clippers. So,
Okay. I'm going to call in my first hint.
which one do you want?
What are the hints again?
Draft class, number of times they've been an All-Star, and primary position.
Number of times they've been an All-Star.
This is a 6-time All-Star.
Ooh.
And if you ever need, just ask. I can read off the team names again.
Yeah, can you read off the teams again?
Yeah. Braves, Pacers, Lakers, Jazz, Pistons, Mavericks, Bucks. People at home, feel free to play along.
Pistons, Mavericks, Bucks. That's a weird stretch.
Don't think about that too much. That was towards the end of his career.
Can you give me, like, the team he's maybe most associated with, or the two teams that he's most associated with?
The Jazz are like his team.
Well, I know it's not John Stockton or Karl Malone. I know it's... It's not
You got 2 more hints if you need them.
Pete Maravich. Yeah, give me the other 2 hints.
1976 draft, small forward.
6-time All-Star, 76 draft, small forward, most associated with the Jazz. He was with the Jazz in, like, the 80s?
Uh-huh.
Shit, I have no idea.
You give up?
Yeah.
It is Adrian Dantley.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he played for, like, 9 teams.
Yeah, well, he started in Buffalo, and then in the second year, he got traded between Indiana and then Los Angeles, and then in his 4th year, he went to the Jazz for, like, a decade.
Oh, so he's like
then,
Joe Johnson, kind of. Like that career path. Okay.
But he played for the Pacers for 23 games and averaged 26.5 points per game. That was pretty cool. Next up, this is another historic player. Hawks, Clippers, Celtics, Spurs.
Hawks, Clippers, Celtics, Spurs. Is that Dominique Wilkins?
It is Dominique Wilkins.
Okay.
I never knew he played for the Clippers or the Spurs. I do remember seeing him in a Celtics.
Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like I didn't know that either, but I kind of had a feeling that maybe he had like a weird team in between the Hawks and the Sixers, or the Hawks and the Celtics.
Yeah. All right. Now this player is not on a roster right now. The last season they played was the 2019-20 season. Grizzlies, Rockets, Nuggets, Jazz, Hawks, Raptors, Nets, Spurs, Rockets.
Is it Nene?
It is not.
Oh, dude, he played for like 10 teams.
He did.
What's the draft class?
2009 draft.
Oh, damn. Okay. Can you read the teams off again?
Yes. Grizzlies, Rockets, Nuggets, Jazz, Hawks, Raptors, Nets, Spurs, Rockets.
Did he make any All-Star teams?
He did not.
2009. So that is Steph Curry. Is it Hasheem Thabeet?
It is not.
Damn it. Grizzlies. What team is he like most associated with?
I guess the Hawks. He's not really associated with a team. Either the Hawks or the Nets. I don't really.
The Hawks or the Nets?
I think of him on the Nets more, but usually people don't think about him at all.
Is it Jared Dudley?
It is not.
Damn. I don't know. Who is it?
Damari Carroll.
Oh, I haven't thought about him in a long time.
I know. I wouldn't have thought about him either. He was on like you know how when you first go to Basketball Reference, there's like 10 players on the front page. He was one of them, so I was like, that'd be a good one to throw in here. All right, the next one. This is near impossible. For like, if I was given this one, I would have zero idea. Nationals and 76ers.
Was he any good?
12-time All-Star.
Oh, shit. Is it Moses Malone? Oh, wait, no, he played for the Rockets.
It is not.
It's not Moses Malone. What year was he drafted?
He was in the 1948 BAA draft.
Oh, my God. Okay. I'm not going to get this.
Sure, you got to apply yourself. He was on the NBA 75.
Is it like Dave Cowens or something?
It is not.
Is he more associated with the 76ers?
He is not.
Oh. I have no idea.
You give up?
Yeah.
It is Dolph Schayes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is. I mean, once we get into, like, the 40s, I'm like, yeah, I don't, like, my basketball knowledge stops around, like, 1965-ish. Like, I know Bill Russell and, like, Cousy.
Well, good news on that end. Every other player is past 1965, so.
Cool.
Should be good. All right, the next one. Warriors, Bobcats, Suns, Magic, 76ers.
Warriors, Bobcats, Suns, Magic, 76ers. That's a weird combination. Okay. It
is.
Give me the draft class. Give me the All-Stars.
2001 draft, 0-time All-Star.
2001 draft to the Warriors, you say?
They were his first team.
They were his first team. Who was the team after the Warriors?
It was the Bobcats.
What team is he most associated with?
For me personally, I would say the Warriors. They're probably his most associated team.
0-time All-Star. 2001 draft. God, the 2001 draft sucked. That's like...
It did indeed.
I think that's a Kwame Brown draft. I don't know anybody else in that draft. I think Caron Butler and Jay Williams were in that draft too. Is it like Quentin Richardson or something like that? Like a role player?
It is not,
2000s?
But you are very close.
Quentin Richardson, shit. Who's his co-host on that podcast?
It's not Darius Miles.
Oh, it's not Darius Miles.
That's not what I meant when I said you're close.
Oh. Oh, is it Jason Richardson?
It is Jason Richardson.
Ah.
Yeah. That's what you said Quentin Richardson, and I was like, no, come on. You're so close. All right, the next one up. Royals, Kings, because the Royals became the Kings.
Is it Oscar Robertson?
Knicks, no.
Oh.
Knicks, Celtics, Bucks.
Knicks, Celtics, Bucks. Kings, Knicks, Celtics, Bucks. How many All-Stars did he make?
He's a 6-time All-Star.
Can I have the other hints, too, along with that?
1970 draft, point guard.
Is it Clyde Frazier?
It is not.
Is he mostly a Celtic?
No, he's mostly a King.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, the only Kings player pre, 1990 I know is Oscar Robertson. Yeah, I have no idea.
You know this guy. Oh, all right. It is Nate Archibald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I associate him more
Next.
with the Celtics, I think. I think that's what messed me up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. He had his best seasons with the
No,
Kings.
it's fine. No, he did. It's one of the weird memory things. That, the first time I heard about him, it was in a Celtics context, so it was oh, he's a Celtic.
I gotcha. Fun fact: he averaged 34 and 11
Oh my
one
God.
season on the Kings. So, pretty good. Next up, Nets, Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Nets.
Nets, Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Nets.
Correct.
What? Give me the hints.
1982 draft, one-time All-Star, point guard.
Nets, Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Nets. Is he?
What?
What team is he most associated with?
He had his best seasons on the Warriors.
Is it... Was he a part of Run TMC? Because there's always one of them that I don't remember. I know it's Chris Mullen and Tim Hardaway Sr., but I always forget the other one.
It is not Mitch Richmond.
It is not Mitch Richmond, okay. It's not Mitch Richmond.
I don't know if this will help. He was traded from the Warriors to the Rockets in the 87-88 season.
Where's the Rockets? I have no idea.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's Sleepy Floyd.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
What?
Dude,
Really?
No, I don't know who Sleepy Floyd is. I mean, I've heard the name before.
You don't know Sleepy? Oh man.
No, I've
right,
never heard of Sleepy Floyd before.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
All right, this is a player you do 100% know. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Rockets, Grizzlies, Warriors, Magic, Bucks, Suns, Thunder, Sixers, Pelicans, Sixers, Pistons, Wizards, Hornets.
What? What draft class?
He went undrafted in the 2010 draft.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's currently playing.
Okay. No All-Stars, I'm going to go ahead and guess.
Correct.
Can you say all 14 teams again?
Yes, I can. Rockets, Grizzlies, Warriors, Magic, Bucks, Suns, Thunder, Sixers, Pelicans, Sixers, Pistons, Wizards, Hornets.
Oh, it's Ish Smith.
Correct. It is Ish Smith. I thought that would be a fun one to throw in there.
Yeah, it's the
'cause he's
it's the
played
Pistons Wizards back to back that got me.
Oh, that one gave it to you?
Yep.
I was going to say, you should know who he is because we watched him play in person. So
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, that's all of the players I have. Like I said, I did make it pretty hard. I didn't mean to pick players you've never heard of before, though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully we'll be back with a more fair game next time.
Yeah.
You got anything else to add?
No, that's it for me.
All right, then like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Aiden Hammond Sports on TikTok.
Yes.
Link will be in the description. He's kind of popping off on there. So, again, you want to get on before he forgets about all of us fans. So, yeah, check all that stuff out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye.